Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Subhashish Mishra and today's topic of discussion is on Introduction to Pandas for Machine Learning and Data Science. Before we start, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, like, share and turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified once any new video gets uploaded, as I'm constantly uploading videos on machine learning and data science. Now let's get started. So what is Pandas? Pandas is an open source library which is built in on top of NumPy. Pandas can be called as Excel version of the Python. Okay, it is used for most of the pre-processing before machine learning model is built. Pandas also has inbuilt data visualization features available, which we will be discussing whenever we will be discussing about the data visualization topic. So to install Pandas, we can use pip install Pandas if we have a Python version or distribution install. Else we can have conda install Pandas because we are currently working in Jupyter Notebook, so we can also use conda install Pandas if we have Anaconda installed. Also the pip version of the command will work for the Pandas installation. Okay, I'll encourage you to go ahead and give it a try. If not possible, then put it in the comment section. I'll happy to help you out. Okay, now let's get started with the coding. Okay, here we are in the Jupyter Notebook. Now let's start. Let's first import numpy as np and import pandas as pd. Once you have imported pandas also come in inbuilt with a Python version installation. Okay, whenever you install any kind of Python, you will get numpy and pandas by default installed, so you don't have to install it separately. But if it is not there, then you can go ahead and use the pip command that I have already specified. Okay, now let's discuss the first topic, which is called as series. So we will be discussing about series. Okay, so series is similar to the array in NumPy, but in case of pandas, series we can have indexes, labels for the entries of the series. What I mean by that is, let's say we have one list called as indexes. Okay, and let's say we have the entries 100, 200 and 300, and we have another one list, let's say, called as data. Okay, now we can go ahead and build a series on top of it. pd dot series, we will call the series function, and if we do the shift tab, we will be able to see the documentation of it. So what it takes a lot of arguments, but the most important arguments are data and index. So we'll go ahead and specify those two arguments. The first one is data. We will provide data. Okay, let's first provide the data as the argument and see what is going to do. So we are getting the data as 1, 2, 3, and there is one index associated with each and every data points, which is 0, 1 and 2. Now we can go ahead and specify the index that we want. This is something like a customized index. Now once we do that, we can be able to see that our indexed, what we have specified, 100, 200 and 300 are being assigned to the data points that are there. Okay, here one more thing to notice is we can provide the function parameters as the data directly by using the sequences. Okay, or we can do it using the label name like data equal to data or index equal to index. Okay, here we can also be able, here as we can be able to see that we have numbers 1, 2, 3, it can be float. We can also be able to provide the create a series using the mathematical functions or any kind of functions that we have. Okay, so we can have go ahead and specify in a list like the sum function, max function and the print function, and it will provide us the data points using those functions. Okay, and also the indexes. We can be able to specify the specific indexes like string indexes. Okay, we can say like pd dot series and data equal to data, the data points that we have, let's say we will use it, and indexes, let's say we use index as a list of strings, let's say A, B and C. So this is also possible. Okay, let's say once we create a series, if we want to index it, we can be able to do the same way as we were doing in the list. So you can go ahead and check introduction to Python video and you can be able to understand that how can we be able to do the indexing in terms of any kind of dictionary. So it is just like a dictionary notation of series of indexing. Okay, so this is the same way like we do indexing in dictionary, we can be able to do the same in series also. Okay, so to do the indexing in series, let's give it a parameter, like let's say sc1, we will give it a variable name as sc1. Now if we see what sc1 is, so sc1 is the series that we have. Now if we want to see the index number c, then we can be able to specify index number c and it will give us the value for that. Okay, all right. Now let's say if we have two series, okay, and we want to have a operation with it. Let's say we have a series 2, which is pd dot series, and here instead of c we are specifying it as 300. Now the series 2 is also created. Okay, now we have the series 1, which is 1 2 3 as the inputs and abc as the indexes, and we have the series 2 which has abc ab 300 as the indexes and 1 2 3 as the data points. Okay, now if we want to do the addition operation, so we can be able to do it in this way, sc1 plus sc2, and it gives us the value. Okay, so here you can be able to see that a b are the indexes which are matching over here. So it is just making the addition operation for the data points of a and b, because both are integer, so that's the reason why it has added a and b, and 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. And for c, as the index is not matching, then because of that it is printing as nan, and for 300 also the index doesn't match, so it is printing it as nan. So anywhere else in performing any kind of operation in case of Python, in case of pandas, if you are finding that for the operations the indexes are not matched, then it will simply replace it as a nan. Okay, now let's go ahead and discuss one important topic, most important topic in fact, we can say, is data frame. Okay, so data frame can be called as a matrix with columns and indexes. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a data frame to understand it. Let's say we have a variable name called as df, and let's create the data frame. pd dot data frame is the function using which we can be able to create the data frame. Now to create the data frame, we have to specify the points as, let's go ahead and see the documentation: data, index, columns, and data types. So the most important thing are data, index, and columns. We can go ahead and specify one by one. Okay, for data, we can be able to specify np dot random dot random. It's just the numpy operations that we have done in the previous numpy video. If you haven't checked that, I'll definitely encourage you go ahead and check it out once, so that you will be able to correlate with the one that we are doing currently. Okay, let's say we have the rows 5 and columns 4. Okay, now for the index, so we will specify it as strings a, b, c, d, and E. Because we have 5 rows, that's why we have to provide 5 indexes, right? Now for the columns, how many columns we have? 4 columns. So we will specify the columns as, let's say, X, Y, Z and P are the columns. Now this is done. Now we shift enter and it creates the data frame for us. Okay, so data frame looks like this. So it is just a tabular notation. Okay, we have the rows rows A, B, C, D, E and the columns as X, Y, Z and P. So data frame is nothing but a collection of series. Okay, if we have 3 to 4 series and we collate them into one single tabular format, then it is called as a data frame. But in that case, we need to understand that the indexes or the number of rows for each and every series should be same. If not, then it will replace the index value for which the data is not present as NAM. Okay, now let's check the indexing of the data frame. So df of, let's say we have to find out the series X. Okay, so df of X, we can be able to go ahead and check the entire series X. Okay, now how we are being able to understand that it is a series? So to check that, we can go ahead and do the type of df of X. So it is being specified like it is series. Now we can go ahead and check the type of df also. It will go ahead and check it will show us as data frame. Okay, there is one more way we can be able to fetch the series data from our data frame. It's like df dot, we can specify the column name and it will give us the column value. Okay, but here one thing we have to notify is like if we have a column name which has a name which is being specified by any space, let's say new column is the column name, okay, then we can't be able to do this df dot new column because it has a space associated with it. Okay, so the better option is go with df of in the bracket notation, provide within single quote or double quote, provide the column name. Okay, we can be able to specify find out 2 to 3 series. We can be specify a list of columns and it will fetch us the columns that we want to fetch from this. Okay, now if we see that df of X and Y gives us the data frame containing the series X and Y. We can add 2 or more columns to get a new column, or we can be able to add any new column, okay, in a existing data frame. How we can be able to do that is like, let's say we want to add df of new as the column name. For that we can be able to go ahead and do df of X and df of Y. We're just doing the addition operation to find out the new, to create a new list and to assign it with the existing data frame that we have. Now if we go ahead and check the data frame, then we have a new column associated with it, which is the addition of X and Y. Okay, now to drop any kind of column from any data set, from any data frame, we can be able to do like df dot drop. It will drop the column that we specify in the data frame or the row that we specify in the data frame. Okay, so if we want to, let's say, drop the column number X, so we can go ahead and do the X. Let's say we do df dot drop and X. If we do this, we are going to get an error. What is the error? It says that X is not found in the axis. What is axis then? Let's go ahead and see that. If we go the shift tab, if we do the shift tab, we can be able to see the documentation. Inside the documentation, we have the labels. Label mean nothing. It's the row or column number that we want to specify, and then the axis, okay, which is equal to 0. So what is equal to 0? Whenever we are creating any kind of series or any kind of data frame, we are giving the rows and columns for this. Okay, so the rows we have specified in the above scenario. Whenever we have created the data frame, we have specified the number of rows as 5 and columns as 0. So here the so in the case of drop, the axis 0 is specified as rows and axis 1 specifies as column. Since we want to drop a column X, we have to change the axis as 1. Okay, so we will go ahead and add the axis as 1. Once we do that, it will go ahead and delete the column X. Notice one thing over here we need to notice is like after that, if we do df, we can be able to see that X is still present. Why? Because in pandas there are a lot of operations going on. Okay, sometimes it may be the case that we accidentally drop one column, but we definitely need it. Okay, in that case, to avoid that kind of scenario, pandas provide us a one layer of extra accessibility. We have to say that yes, we are confirming that we want to delete the column. So for that, what is there inside the documentation, you can go ahead and see this is pretty much present in almost every pandas method that you will be using. Okay, that is in place. So here the in place is false. If we want to really delete the column, then we have to specify the in place equal to true. We can do it with column, we can do it with row also. Okay, so then if we go ahead and check the df, we don't have the X column available with us. Okay, we can also be able to drop the row. Let's say we want to drop row number A. Okay, for that can be able to go ahead and do drop A, and we don't have to specify the axis because the axis is by default 0. If you want, then you can specify axis, else it is not needed. So once you drop that, it is again B, C, D, E, and A is being dropped. Again, here also the scenario is if we want actually it to be dropped, we have to specify in place equal to true, which I'll not do that because I think we are going to need it. Okay, now to find out any kind of, we have checked the columns. Okay, df of column name we have specified and the column has been printed out for us. If we want to find out the row, any row, okay, we have the data frame as df and we want to find out the row. Let's say we want to see the row number C, so we can be able to do it using df or df dot loc. loc is location, and we can be able to specify the location wise. The location means the row we want to print. Let's say we want to print the row number C, let's say. Okay, we can be able to specify df.loc of C, and it will just print the row number C in a format of list where it shows the column number y value is this much, z value is this much, p value is this much, and new value is this much. Okay, we can also do it in another way called as df.iloc. Here we don't have to specify the column, specify the row name. Here we have to specify the row index. What is the index? 0, 1, 2. You can specify the index number 2 and it will print us the same value, but here iloc is the index notation and loc is the index name that you have to specify. Okay, so now we can also have a subset sub data frame that we can be able to print using few columns, few rows. Okay, so for that we can be able to do that df of df dot loc, and inside that loc, if you are specifying that we want row number A and B to be printed, and also we want column number Y and Z to be printed, and we can be able to do it in this way, and it will go ahead and specify us the rows A and B with the column Y and Z. So it is a sub data frame that we can be able to fetch from it. Okay, so we can go ahead and do some sort of mathematical operation from the sub data frame also. Now let's say that we have a condition called as df greater than 0. Let's do this one. So we are getting here a Boolean notation of the data frame. Okay, wherever the df the for whichever value the value is greater than 0, it is specifying as true. Wherever the value is less than 0, it is specifying as false. We can go ahead and print a sub data frame using this condition. If we go ahead and do df of, if we cast it inside df, then it will give us the data frame wherever the value of the data is greater than 0, it will print the data, it will print the data point. Wherever the value is less than 0, it will print it as a NaN or NaN. Okay, we can be able to do it using column notation, which is the more precisely used. df of y greater than 0. Let's say what is it? So we are getting false, false, true, true. Okay. Now if we cast it inside df, then we are going to get only the rows wherever the condition is true for df of y. Okay. We will not be getting any NaN. We'll only be getting those 3 rows for which the df of y is greater than 0. Okay. We can find out a specific column out of this sub data frame. Let's save the data frame first. Okay. So let's say test1 is this. Okay. Now let's see what test1 is. So test1 is this data frame. Now if we want to find out the new column of the test1, then we can be able to do it test1 of new. We are getting the details about new. Now if you want to do the same using this one, then we can also be able to do that. How we can be able to do that? This is the condition using which we have found out the test1, and now using this we can specify the column name we want to print. It will print us the column name, which is df of new, df test1 of new. Okay, so the test1 of new and this condition are same. Okay, now let's discuss about conditional statement. Let's discuss about conditional statements. Okay, so we have already seen the conditional statements in the previous videos. Okay, so the same thing we will be doing over here. Let's say we have df of y is the column name that we have over here, and this is the condition that we have, df of y greater than 0. Let's say we have multiple conditions available over here. Okay, we have the df, okay, so you can be able to see this one. Okay, so this is logical and now we can be able to see the logical OR operation. Okay, for that we can be able to do is logical OR operation. So for the OR operation we can have a pipe notation and it will specify the every value for it. So here OR is like either or condition is satisfied. So in both the cases either or condition is satisfied, so we are getting all the 5 rows available over here. Okay, all right, now let's discuss one more important concept called as reset indexing. Okay, now let's say we have the data frame df available with us, and if we go ahead and do df dot reset index, then we are being able to see that the index has been reset and the previous index that we had a b c d e has been allotted as a new column name, and it is being specified as a b c d e as an index column. Okay, and the index that we had previously has been replaced with 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, the default index. We can do it whenever we want to reset any index. Okay, but we are not going to do it because we are not specifying in place equal to true over here. Okay, we can also be able to specify any kind of column that we have as the index. How we can be able to do that is df of tf dot set index is the function using which we can be able to specify the index. And in the set index, if we are specifying as z to be the index, then we can be able to do that using this. So it is specifying that the z as the index and y, z, p are the columns that we have. Okay, so this is the basic interpretation of the pandas and the data frame. In the next section, we will be going ahead and discussing about the advanced notation of the pandas using grouping and also the group by notations and also the sub indexing. All of these things we will be discussing in the next section, and after that we will go ahead and discuss about the machine learning things that we have left over. All right, so until then, enjoy and stay tuned and enjoy machine learning.